Welcome to the Enrich Minds podcast, people. I wanted to do a happy, fun, laughable podcast today. But events in the news and personal events have led me to do this type of podcast today, which is what I call a reality check. Now, this is going to work two ways. Somebody out there listening, either you're listening now or someone will share it with you, but somebody needs a reality check. And I need to get a lot of this stuff off my chest. So this is a win-win for me today. Because ultimately I want to help some of y'all. Back in the day, when I was younger, and you got out of line, you got a little ahead of yourself, your head got kind of big, your friends would put you in check, which we call a reality check. If you can recall, Ice Cube had a song, Check Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself. Now, due to the fact that a lot of that checking yourself and friends checking you don't exist no more, America is in a downward spiral. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at the depression rate. Look at the suicide rate. They're astronomical. In the past 7 days, 3 celebrities, maybe more, maybe I'm missing one, have committed suicide. Killed themselves. Didn't have to happen. Maybe their friends around them didn't hear the cries for help. Maybe they didn't cry for help. I don't know. And I just can't even imagine how many non-celebrities have committed suicide so far in 2019. But I believe a lot of these people could have been saved, my belief, had they gotten a reality check a long, long time ago. Number one, life is going to be hard. You are not unique in your suffering. Unless you're, in some remote area of the world where you have minimal access to water, electricity, doctors, Americans, you can't complain. Your life is not like theirs. Now, you can say, oh, well, maybe your life wasn't like mine. I was homeless multiple times. My mother and I both. Not to mention, when I got kicked out the house and had to get it how I live. So a lot of people say in the South, you get how you live. I've been there and done that. What I learned was my future was in my hands. There was nobody to blame. I couldn't blame my mom. I couldn't blame my circumstances because, hey, I'm the boss of my own life. I can make a decision. I can go into the military. Yes, sir. No, sir. I didn't choose to do that. I chose my route, and I had to suffer the consequences of my route. And all of you people that, one thing that I'm tired of hearing. And it's just so unfortunate that these youngsters, teenagers, and children are committing suicide behind bullying and cyberbullying. Now, these are two totally different things, but I want to touch on the bullying first and foremost. Bullying has existed since the beginning of mankind. It even exists amongst all animals. If you watch a pack of puppies, those are the things that I've been the most intimate with, but it's pretty much all species. One's alpha. And that alpha bullies the rest of them to let them know who's boss. This happens in the human race, people. That ain't going nowhere. Just like if you follow this page, a couple episodes ago, I said racism ain't going nowhere. Okay? We're not committing suicide because white folks still don't like black folk. And I'm not downing anybody that's committing suicide because evidently they needed help. But for those of you contemplating, here's some of the help. Reality check. You are not unique in your suffering. For instance, Google depression in America and you'll see 1 in 12 people are depressed. So you know you are not alone and you are not feeling something that the rest of us aren't feeling. Life gets tough. It's going to continue to get tough. I believe acceptance and understanding is paramount to your mental health. Because if you couldn't accept, when I was homeless, I had to accept the circumstances. And I accepted it like this. Hey, I was in high school where it was crucial. Kids laughed at me and I was the joke of the school because I had to wear the same clothes to school every day. Shaleria, if you're listening, I know you're laughing. Shut up. Anyway, I had to endure that. I wore the same clothes to school at least 3 days in a row. When my mom washed clothes, it was like we went shopping. It was like I had a whole new wardrobe because I only had select articles of clothes to wear over and over. I got picked on. Didn't really get bullied. But hey, you guys call getting picked on bullying now. So technically I got bullied. Oh, the fuck well. That was just what it is. I learned that I didn't live for these people. The people that bullied me, they didn't decide my future or anything like that. I was still in control of that. I just didn't have to go around those people. When a bully goes in your pocket and he wants your lunch money or he wants you to do this, do that, he wants to take your book or whatever, you learn a route that bully's not on. You learn to get around or you learn how to fight. This is how karate classes and self-defense classes became popular, because people got bullied and they had to learn how to defend themselves. Because in life, you are going to have to defend yourself, sometimes physically, predominantly mentally. And I'll get to that in a minute. But people, you have to accept life as it is now in order to excel past that. What I mean by that, people who made something out of nothing, they accepted that they were in a predicament of nothing. They didn't exist in a fantasy that they were rich and I'm just so special and I'm better than all these people that I'm around. And one day everything's just going to happen for me. These people, like myself, had to work hard to get ourselves out of it. Because guess what? Nobody gave a damn. Nobody cared if I ate at night. Nobody cared what was on my mind. If I didn't sleep, the teachers didn't know my circumstances. That when that bell rang and I left school, I was going to sleep in the car with my mom and we're eating bologna sandwiches and shit, and it's ice cold out there in the car, and we were in a little car, and it was freezing and I didn't have a home to go to. Now, I'm not saying everyone should be me, so don't misinterpret this message or this reality check. What I'm saying is shit happens and it's going to continue to happen. That girl you want, dog, she might not want you back. No matter what you do, you did everything right. You don't have to say, oh, I must have did something wrong. I can't live with myself because I lost her and she was my world and it's time to die. That's not true. You learn from your mistakes, or you learn, listen, I did what I could and my best wasn't good enough for her, and you move on to the next girl. And women, the same exact thing. Sometimes your best isn't good enough. Move on to the next guy. There is somebody else that will make you feel like that person made you feel. It's not unique. Now I know in the movies, they outside the window and he throwing the rock and I don't want anybody else, you only want. That's bullshit, people. That's a fantasy. That's like Alice in Wonderland, Pinocchio. There's no puppet coming to life. He's never going to be a real boy. He has no organism on the inside. It's all fantasy. So people, stop believing these damn movies. Fellas, Scarface was fake. He's a fictional character. That movie has outtakes where they messed up their lines and had to redo it. It's not real. These aren't based on real life stories. And even if it was, Scarface died in the end. He fucked up everything. Why would you aspire to be that person? It's fake. Social media is fake. It's entertainment. It is not the rules of life. I wore this white t-shirt on another episode. You don't have to say, I saw you wear that. Look, I'm not rich and I'm not pretending to be rich. You're going to see a lot of shit that I wore in previous episodes on future episodes because I'm just not living that lifestyle. I work like everybody else. I need to save my money and budget just like your ass should be. Now, ladies, you love the Kim Kardashian storyline. You love what's going on with all the women and the dress they wear at the Oscars and all this stuff. That's a rich person's lifestyle. All you people that listen to this rap shit and you want to emulate that, that's for people that got money. You ain't got, listen, if you ain't making over $250,000 a year, if you in that first tax bracket, you ain't got no business participating in that lifestyle. You should be stockpiling the little extra money you got for them storms that you know is coming because they come before. Now, you teenagers that might be listening, young adults that might not experience nothing, I understand. Y'all think you're invincible. You think your path is not going, it's going to be it's going to be unique from everybody else's path. And you're going to go unscathed because you're smart and you got the world by the balls. I understand that. This is your reality check too. Tidal waves are going to come. No matter how good you can surf, you can't ride every wave. And sometimes when you fall off that wave, it can be damaging, it can be devastating. But if you can still feel all your limbs and you got your mind about yourself, you got to get up and carry on. Even if you lose some of the limbs, you got to get up and carry on. Women, J-Lo is getting married to Arod. Congratulations. He bought her a hellacious ring. Now you turn to your significant other or your boyfriend or your fiance and say, well, baby, are you going to get me a ring like J-Lo? How in the purity hell can he get you a ring remotely to J-Lo's? The man is struggling with the car that you just had to have, and it's $600 a month that y'all can't afford on top of the rent, and you might even have a crumb crusher little kid over here that's taxing you, and you want him to do, he's going to have to go to prison to get you that ring, and you're going to have to go on by yourself just to enjoy that ring. It's not reality. So you put pressure on somebody, your expectations are way too high, people. If you got a basic job, that's just it. Make the most of it. And back in the day, people did that. I personally believe the drug culture changed everything, which the drug culture changed hip hop or strongly influenced hip hop, and everybody had to have money all of a sudden. Because when I was growing up, everybody didn't have nothing before the drugs hit. People didn't have shit and we had fun. Since the drugs came out, everybody got to have some money. Everybody got to have a little glitter around their neck, a little chain, a little this and a little that. And I want to tell all you rappers that just got a deal or currently have a deal that just might have stumbled across this, or maybe somebody sent it to you. Have you ever thought about, they give you the money, fellas. You want to be a big time rapper. You finally get that big fat check. First one. And you might be really good. So it's a nice, decent check. Right? They literally give you the check, and then they literally have people follow you around to get the money back. And what do I mean by that? As soon as they cut you this big check, the jewelry man's right there standing next to you. The car man, custom guy, he's standing right next to you. The designer clothing guy standing right next to you. The house, the realtor guy, he's standing right. All these people standing right there to make sure you're not going to do anything powerful with that money. They make sure you're going to buy a lot of shit that don't matter and is not going to get your position any better in life. It's just going to get you a lot of attention. People are going to say, oh, look at him. Maybe that's your goal. But don't fall for that trap, people. This is your fucking reality check. Money is for more than jewelry, cars, and clothes. And people, if you struggle all of 2018 and you just got your income tax check in 2019, why would you fuck it off on some Louis Vuitton or some kind of Gucci shirt or some of that dumb shit? The attention is not going to pay your bills 4 months from now. It's a fucking news flash. Wake up. It's your reality check. Some of y'all, why are you yelling? Listen, you need to get yelled at. I'm not going to call you stupid, but you're acting stupid. You're doing stupid things. Most of y'all aren't stupid. Some of y'all that are, it's just unfortunate, and I'm sorry I'm not making fun of. But a lot of y'all are just acting stupid. Wake up. Damn. Fellas, you tell your girl, you see her gaining a little weight. You tell her, don't you think it's time to go to the gym? She lift up your shirt and show you your pregnant belly. It asks you the same question. You just, well, it's just a whole lot of playground. No, man, that shit is unattractive. And you know that. That's why both y'all try to go through each other's phone and see who fucking with another person. What? Well, listen, if you're worried about your girl with another person, or vice versa, lady, you worried about your man with another person, evidently you must know something ain't right at the house. Most of the time, a man ain't just stepping out because he's greedy. Now, I know a lot of dudes are. I know them personally. And this is your fucking reality check too, greedy motherfucker. You're going to end up alone, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, fellas, if you ask her to do something, you best be ready to do it. You take your own advice. If you need to lose some weight, you take your ass to the gym first and you lead by an example. You can't expect Your fat ass, you can't expect an Instagram model without no money. Now, we all know the drill. These Instagram models think they fine, and some of them even when it got work done because they invested in becoming the desperate housewife or a basketball wife. They invested in that shit. That's their whole goal is to catch somebody that's rich and get that turnkey lifestyle. We'll get to that part too later. But your fat ass, sir, you better go to the gym if you ask your girl to go to the gym. Period. Because you ain't attractive no more either, sir. That's just reality. You need a reality check. People George Foreman's daughter just committed suicide. God bless her family. Condolences to the family and everybody else who lost somebody to suicide. Because, listen, some signs may have been missed, but sometimes they just need a reality check. A lot of you parents, you want to be your kid's friend. You don't want to spank your kid. You don't want to punish your kid. You can't even follow through on the punishment. You tell your kid, know this for a week, and 2-3 days later, they got whatever that is. This is creating a fucking monster. The kid gonna go to prison, be a school shooter, or be a fucking child molester, people, because this is what's going on out here. Now, you don't want to accept that. I had this just happen in my family last year, where a 5-year-old came to an adult and said, your daughter's been trying to get me to touch her. She been touching me. She went off on the 5-year-old. Like he was the child molester. He don't even know what the fuck going on. It took her ex-husband to get to the bottom of the story. Her daughter was molesting a 5-year-old boy. Her daughter was 12, the boy was 5. She didn't want to accept reality. Now, thank God, her husband got to the bottom of it and it didn't happen with an older person because she might have, if she hadn't lost her virginity already, she might have lost it and shit might have just went back. People, your kid ain't perfect. Your kid is going to lie to you. You can't believe everything your kid says, just like you lied to your mom and your dad, or if you were in a single parent house, whatever. Listen, that's just the way it is. All of you people that want to go off on the schools and talking about the schools need to be lighter, this is contributing to the decline of America. You don't got to take my word for it. Do your own self-study. America is going down, it ain't going up, and you can look at our leadership, and you can look at how divided our country is. We all a part of that problem. We are all a part of people committing suicide. We don't make people comfortable coming out, just like she didn't believe the 5-year-old boy. People that get molested, get raped, you say, well, why did they wait this long? Because they feel like if they tell you, you ain't gonna believe them. Michael Jackson right now, listen, my fucking Twitter and my Instagram, all that shit is full of Michael Jackson defenders from previous episodes. My comments, you can go back and look at the comments yourself. People are defending Michael Jackson because he was their hero. Michael got me through so much. Bill Cosby, he was a black leader. It don't mean they perfect. And what I've learned is if everybody accuses you of the same thing, don't nobody accuse you of nothing else, more than likely you guilty of it. Now think about this. If somebody says, your friend, think about your personal friend. If no matter where y'all go, people accuse your personal friend of stealing, and these are people that don't even know each other, it gotta be some validity to it, because it's like, damn, man, everywhere we go, why they accusing you of taking something? Are you stealing? Man, no, I ain't stealing nothing. And I don't know why people make their eyes big like they're supposed to be believable. I ain't do it. You know you fucking stole, and sometimes you gotta put your friend in a reality check right then and there and say, look, man, cut that shit out. All these people ain't lying. And just like if somebody accused your friend of being a rapist, and multiple people accuse your friend or your brother or your father being a rapist, everybody ain't perfect. These people need to be checked. They might even need hands put on them. It's spare the rod, spare the child for all you God-fearing folk out there. That's what's needed. So you out of touch with reality. This one girl told me, she said, oh, you beat your dog? She got upset because I said I beat my dog. Now, I didn't say I abused my dog, but I chastised my dog. Now, you could take a newspaper, this is what everybody used to do back in the day, and slap his ass across the nose, and he go to paw on his nose trying to rub that sting off because he know he wrong. How do you know your dog knows he wrong? When you swap his ass for doing something, and the next time he do it, he just gonna start looking guilty and shit because he already know he did something against the grain. This is just life. So she told me she got upset because she thought I was talking about abusing the dog. I was not. Once we clarified that, she said how she chastises her dog is she grabs him by the nose and gives him a good talking to. Okay, she said that's effective. Listen, she said that's effective. So I told her, I said, hey, listen, have you ever observed a litter of puppies with their mom? She said no. I said, well, listen, the mama dog can't grab the puppy by the nose and give him a good talking to. So they nip his ass or her ass. They nip it. That's how the puppy gets in line. Then right after I told her that, she goes to tell me how the dog uses the bathroom in the house and the dog basically don't listen. Why the fuck would the dog listen to the dog? It feels like he's in charge. And it's the same thing with your child. Your child might feel like they're in charge. They go to school, they disrespect the teacher, they disrespect the community, and they disrespect you. How do you think this kid is going to become a functional adult in society? And not only a functional adult, but a productive father, husband, boyfriend. They might put hands on their old lady. They might not know how to give as they receive. This is a big problem out here, folks. This is a part of decline in relationships. Get your fucking... I can't keep cussing because it's YouTube. But get your mind right, people. You need a reality check. You are not perfect. But guess what? It's okay. So y'all that might be taking this a little harsh and feel like I'm attacking you, I'm not attacking you. I'm telling you, you are not perfect because none of us are. And every day you wake up, you should be trying not to make the same mistake you did yesterday. But a lot of you will repeat that mistake because you don't even want to admit you made the mistake. So you say, hey man, why did you lock the door and lock the keys in the door? Oh man, it wasn't my fault, man. You called me and it was your fault really because you rushed me. Oh, and you all argue, and you're not going to let that person win. 2 days later, you lock the keys in the house again. You was by yourself this time. It ain't nobody to blame. Then you want to say, oh, you got a lot on your mind, you stressed. The bottom line is you just need to pay more attention to what you're doing. And until you realize that, you just keep making these problems snowball into a goddamn avalanche. And this is what causes a lot of people to commit suicide, because when they finally look back at all these problems that they created and they have to accept it, avalanche sign. And to devastate their ass and to just, now they ready to flatline. That's the only way they see out. We could reality check them, and we can reality check you, and you can reality check whoever needs it and get people back in line. Now you can say, this is my opinion. It's not. The facts are showing a steep incline of suicide and a steep incline of depression. A lot of y'all depressed and don't know it because you ain't doing nothing with your time. You on the Instagram, you on your phone, you minding everybody else's business but your own. Now, 50 years ago, less than that, because I'm not 50, y'all. And I know I look 21, but I'm a little older than 21, But anyway, back in my day, when I was young and before me, people had hobbies that were productive. Now hobbies are online. People want to play on Instagram. They want to mind everybody else's business and they want to be entertained. You want to go to World Star. You want to watch people get beat up. You want to watch Jerry Springer, people fighting in Maury Povich about who the father, who ain't the father. None of that shit is going to make you feel good about yourself when you're down and out. Now, back in the day, people used to work on cars or build little model cars. They would crochet blankets. They would crochet sweaters and knit sweaters and sew sweaters. People did a lot of productive things where you could be proud of yourself. That was the source back then of instant gratification. Because you could say, hey, look what I made. And everybody was like, oh my God, that's so nice. Make me one, make me one. And then you felt good about yourself. You felt like you were contributing something to society. But when you sit your ass there all day, every day, and you do absolutely nothing but watch television and go on the internet and you half-ass do your work at work because you complaining about being there, it's going to be hard to find something to be proud of. Now, for those of you that might not know what my hobbies are, well, just Google cool, inexpensive hobbies for those of you that might not be able to afford to spend a lot of money on certain things. whether you can decorate cakes. Fellas, you can just get you a fucking saw and build a shelf and put it up in your house and stain it and make it look good. That's what we did in school, and we felt good about ourselves. But you can't feel good if all you did all day was watch a bunch of fucking drama, a bunch of negative energy you took in all day, and you didn't realize it because you was laughing, because you thought it was funny, but the shit is low-key sinister. Why would you want to see somebody get ran over by a car every day? People getting beat down, blood splashing, and nothing but chaos. And you tune into this shit every day on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your World Star. That's all you consume. How can you feel good about yourself? How can you reach the goal that you swear you want to reach? And a lot of y'all need to stop lying. A lot of y'all swear you gonna do this, you ain't gonna do shit, and that's okay too. Just be the best basic person you can be. Ain't nothing wrong with going to work somewhere for 30 years and retiring. There's nothing wrong. Quit hollering you gonna be an entrepreneur. Quit hollering you gonna start this. That's all bullshit. It's all, what it's gonna do is gonna make somebody call your ass out, and you gonna feel bad about yourself at some point. Somebody gonna call you out and say, stop talking. It's been all this time and you ain't done nothing, and now you gonna feel bad, and you might hit a midlife crisis. When you don't even have to say that. You can find something, you go find you a fucking book. You ain't got shit coming, running your damn mouth, fantasizing. Other than getting caught out and getting yourself embarrassed. Listen, folk, you in control here. Unless you listening from Syria, from an underground bunker or some shit, and you look, especially Americans in first class countries, y'all got it gravy, man. Just do right with your time. Do right with your relationships. Stop expecting somebody to provide something you can't even provide for yourself. You sitting out here expecting somebody to come sweep you off your feet, pay all your bills off, and you live happily ever after. If you gonna get that, go get you a college education first. Because eventually, you might end up like Khloe Kardashian. Now, I like Khloe. I don't have no problem with Khloe. But it just seemed like a cycle of, she got all these first class men, and there's a cycle of, they don't really want her like that. Now, y'all ignorant motherfuckers chiming in, talking about it's karma, and they did it. That ain't it. When you private with this person, and you can't keep this person's attention, or the more this person get to know you, the worse you begin to look. All the surgery in the world can't save you. Only thing gonna save you is some intelligence levels. It's some book reading, some deepened conversations, furtherance of a conversation. But I'm not calling people out that can't do that, because everybody has worth. And this is what I want to tell all y'all. Take this on a positive note, and this is why I'm taking the time to give you a reality check. Everybody has a worth. You don't have to be what everybody else wants you to be successful. Because the true success is peace. If you can't understand that, look at all these celebrities that just committed suicide within the past year and 3 months. Just take a look yourself. Do the Google work yourself. They had the money. More than likely, a lot of them didn't have bill problems. But you can't buy your way out of depression. That is temporary. Somebody do something for you, get you a new car. Oh my God, you're so happy. But then within days, weeks, or months, you in that same thing that made you happy crying. Whether it's a big house, whether it's this or that, you crying now. Because the shit don't wore off. Because an idle mind is the devil's playground. When you sitting there idle with nothing occupying your brain, you let negativity seep in. Negative thoughts it tend to show up when you ain't got shit else to think about. Nothing to occupy that brain. Now, if you sewing and you focused on trying to make this nice sweater and you want it for your aunt or your mom, or you want to make somebody happy to give this to them, your mind is occupied with positivity. See how subtle that is? But when you ain't got nothing to think about, you watching all this crap on the social media, and you just scrolling for hours. That shit, it adds up to hours. You just scrolling for hours. How could you possibly feel good about yourself? And just ask yourself that question. That's the reality check. If look at your bad habits and look at your good habits and honestly weigh them. You don't have to say it out loud. This is all private work, people. Just do this privately. Your bad habits. How much time do you spend on your bad habits? How much time do you spend a day on Instagram just observing? You're not promoting a product. You're not doing nothing but observing and going to Instagram to find something to do. Let me see what's on Instagram. Let me see who posted what, who wearing this and who doing that. That's going to lead to negative thoughts because you want to start looking at, well, they got this and I ain't got it. Well, guess what, people? It's daytime to shine. That's daytime. How you going to feel bad because somebody else reached success and you didn't, and it just ain't your time? Because you damn sure wouldn't feel bad if you made it and they didn't. And if you do, that's called survivor's remorse. That's a whole nother thing. That's people just finding something to be sad about. You know what I'm saying? It's just something always wrong. Even in heaven, you get put out of there. You get sent back down here because you get reincarnated because you can't even be happy up there. So they say, send her motherfucking ass or his ass back down to earth to go through that shit again because they ain't learned nothing. Don't be that person. Don't get kicked out of heaven. How you get evicted from heaven? That's a damn shame. Look, I'm not yelling at you. I just trying to wake you up. For those that might be feeling down about yourself and you might be on the brink of suicide. You can't find no sense of self-worth. The best way to find a sense of self-worth is by doing something. It could be knitting a shirt, decorating a cake, drawing a picture. It's an outlet. You discover something about yourself you didn't know. Write your feelings out. Write a poem. Try to write it in a creative way. Or start a podcast and vent like I'm venting. Now, I'm not depressed, and I can't even necessarily remember a time in my life when I was depressed. And I'm not, I'm not saying that I'm better than nobody because I could have a tidal wave coming. But I try to deal with all my problems right away. I don't like to pretend because when I grew up, everybody said a closed mouth don't get fed. So you can pretend, oh, there ain't nothing wrong, but your stomach is turning and growling and shit. And look, how am I gonna eat? Unless back then I would go in the store and steal. I did something, it might not seem productive, but I had to survive. I'm not, kids, don't do that, because you might take your little ass to jail. You say, well, I'm listening to Enrich My Life. Yeah, he told me to go snag something. I'm not encouraging anything wrong. I'm encouraging you to do something, whether you draw a picture, whether you write a poem, whether you record yourself talking, whether you videotape yourself, send it to your friends. Learn how to communicate, though. Because one of the large problems now is a lack of communication. So statistically, they say America's more depressed than ever because they communicate less than ever. Meaning people spend so much time on electronics and not talking to each other, not interacting with people. When I grew up, everybody was outside, even the adults, and kids would play and the adults would get involved and everybody felt good about themselves. But because you're sitting in the house, because you're so afraid of society now because of the media, and yes, the media plays a role. I agree with that. Amen. I hear you out there. Yes, the media has you fearful of going outside, and plus people just have you fearful of going outside. A lot of things happen, but we can't let them terrorize us into staying in the house and dividing us, because you see what it's leading to. It's leading to people that they don't have communication skills, they don't have social skills. People feeling bad about themselves, people committing suicide. And an 8-year-old committing suicide, I mean, what does an 8-year-old know about life or death at that point? And why would an 8-year-old say they want to die? I couldn't imagine when I was 8 years old, one of my classmates talking about death. It never occurred. Never. And so I hear you guys saying, yeah, it's a trend. Celebrities do it, and so it trickles down. I agree with that totally. And this is why I'm saying we have to communicate. We have to put each other in check. This is the importance of the reality check. Now, it hurts to be checked. Your first thing is to be defensive. But if you think about who's checking you, Is this person on your side? Does this person loan you money when you need it? When you stranded somewhere, does this person come pick you up? When some people want to whip your ass, y'all both went home with black eyes because they helped you. You know, if it's coming from people like that, those people have your best interests at heart. You know this person loves you and respects you. You know this person loves you and respects you. They're checking you because they love you and respect you. If you think about it, just like a person you don't care about, you see them doing some crazy shit, you pull the phone out. You're not going to try to check them and say, hey man, don't do that shit, man. You're embarrassing yourself. You pull your phone out. I'm finna go viral with these motherfuckers. Excuse me, YouTube. I didn't mean, just forgive the curse words. Look, Mr. Sponsor, I don't do this all the time. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to be careful. But the people you don't care about, you don't have no advice for. If somebody takes the time to give you advice and this person loves you and respects you and they have your best interest at heart, you might want to take a lot of time to consider the advice that they're giving you. And if you would do that, sometimes the depression won't last as long as it will. And it damn sure won't get to the point of suicide. Now, I want to see all of you guys succeed. I don't know all of you, but I'm taking my time to tell you this because I genuinely care about people. This is why I made the podcast, is where, maybe one of y'all will get something out of this. Maybe one of y'all will go check your friend that might not be on point or doing what they're supposed to do. And sometimes you have to do it forcefully. There was a time where people would be hysterical back in the day and somebody would have to slap them back to reality. Now, they slapped this person. It wasn't out of malice. It was because they needed to shock them back to reality. And this is what we have to do, people. If we don't, the suicide rate is going to just get out of hand. The depression rate is going to get out of hand. And America won't be the greatest country in the world no more. So I'm saying all this so we could all do our part individually. And love don't cost a thing to give most of the time. So why not give it? Anyway, this is your reality check. And I don't want to have to do this again. Peace.